7 News presents Heart of the North Country, a celebration of what makes our community great. Sponsored locally in part by Hemlock Haven and AirServe of Northern New York.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Mackenzie Pyatt.
And I'm Jeff Cole. We are at Honeyville Manor in Adams Center to bring you the Heart of the North Country. For the next half hour, we will take a look back at the stories that made us smile this year, reasons why we're proud to call the North Country home.
We'll start with 3 sisters from DeKalb Junction with a message of hope that took the internet by storm. Erin Bischoff met the 3 girls back in April.
Just a small town girl, living in a lonely world.
Well, just 3 small-town girls whose dance moves have gone viral. This video has been watched about 19 million times on Facebook.
When I saw the 19.4 million views this morning, I was totally blown away. I was like, this is crazy. We're just farm girls from DeKalb.
And as farm girls do, the Wright sisters, Madison, Bailey, and Peyton, spend a lot of time in their barn, which sets the stage for the video, putting on a show for the cows, which the girls show at fairs both locally and around the country.
A singer in a smoky room.
They made the video as part of the hashtag Dairy Dance-Off, a video trend dairy farmers are taking part in to bring a little light to a tough time in the dairy industry.
We made this to put a smile on everybody's faces.
And not only to bring a smile to dairy farmers' faces, but to give them a message of hope. And a little hope is what farmers need as they struggle with low milk and cattle prices.
Farmers, they can't stop believing on themselves. They have to just keep going.
But it's not just reaching dairy farmers. It's been viewed around the world and has been shared by the Irish Post, a national British newspaper.
A lot of the comments that I'm getting are from Ireland, Germany, and Australia. It's unbelievable.
And to the girls' surprise, they're being recognized around the North Country.
When we went to the mall the other day, when I got stopped, the children, they were like, oh my God, you're the girl that danced. And they were singing the song, and it was crazy because it's like I never thought this was gonna happen to me. We're just like, man, this is actually happening.
Those girls weren't the only ones to go viral this year.
That's right. This spring, Garrett Domblewski met a Watertown golfer whose short game was a hit.
Good swing.
Ready.
Nice.
It was only a couple months after Declan Sullivan took his first steps that he took his first swing.
Go.
At first it started out as like a hockey swing. Now it's at the point where if he hits 10 balls, he only hits like 2 or 3 bad ones.
An Instagram account, Little Lefty Declan, is full of videos of the 20-month-old drilling balls into targets and knocking Pringles cans off chairs. Hey! And that swing of his isn't going unnoticed. This week, Declan's videos have been featured on ESPN, Golf Digest, and Tuesday, he and his parents were on a Canadian morning show in Toronto.
Now live from Watertown, New York. Good morning. How are you?
Before all this recognition, Declan was famous at home, too.
Any of our relatives stop over, first thing he does, runs right over, gets his clubs out, and he just, he started drilling golf balls. Of course, everyone's like, oh my God, and they're clapping, so he's clapping.
Declan's parents, AJ and Meredith, joke that even in the womb, they knew Declan would have a gift.
He was 10 days late, and we had nothing to do, so we went and played golf every day. And it's the best golf I ever played. So we kind of knew we had a superstar.
Whoop! Hey! Good job!
Community and family life are parts of what make the North Country great. People came together for a birthday to top all others in Ogdensburg in May. At 111 years old, Beulah Melicky is New York State's oldest citizen. She's considered a legend at her home at Riverledge. The key to longevity? Maybe it's staying active. Word is, Beulah was still doing yoga when she was 109. We found that family tradition runs deep at the Moses Saunders Power Dam in Messina. Jerry Orrs started work at the dam before it was constructed. He became superintendent of operations and was the one who flipped the switch 60 years ago to send the first electricity flowing. And now his son and grandson both work at the dam. 3 generations of family committed to a vital project that has been the lifeblood of industry in St. Lawrence County.
In July, we introduced you to a family that has traced its roots all the way back to the 17th century. Alex Valverde was there as hundreds gathered for a special family reunion in Lewis County.
Nearly 200 people, and one thing they all have in common: DNA.
My heart is so happy and so overjoyed to think that the efforts to bring people together have worked.
This is the 100th Very family reunion and the largest one ever. The lineage began back in the 1600s with Bridget Very, a widow who came to the region from England with her children. Centuries later, her descendants come together every year to catch up and share memories. And of course, make new memories, like celebrating a birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
One woman who has made many memories over the years is Irene Very Manzer. At 102, she's attended just about every reunion, including the first one in 1918.
It's great. I don't know how I deserve it.
For some, though, this was their first time attending a reunion.
I'm just in awe. I never expected this many people to come from so far away, and some from very close by, that have been here their whole lives.
While the family tree's roots started in the North Country, its branches have spread across the States and Canada, and even as far as Australia.
It's a little bit overwhelming. Yeah, you realise how far the leaves of a tree spread.
Everybody's very happy to see us, and we're happy to see them. Really happy.
And to commemorate the 100th reunion, the family is creating a time capsule set to be opened in 50 years.
Invited people to bring things to put in the time capsule. They are thoughtful ideas like what might be obsolete in 50 years.
Once sealed, the time capsule will be presented to the Lewis County Historical Society, which will hold it for the family to open in 2068. And who knows, maybe at the 150th family reunion, another moment to make family memories.
Much more to come on the Heart of the North Country.
On the ground and in the air, the 10th Mountain Division was on the move. A look back at a busy year for our soldiers.
Plus, what one Canadian man overcame to get behind the wheel at Can-Am Speedway in Lafargeville. Stay tuned. The North Country is home to one of the finest fighting forces in the U.S. military, the 10th Mountain Division, based at Fort Drum.
It was another successful year for our soldiers. John Moore takes a look at some of the highlights.
The 10th Mountain Division continued its mission with successful deployments to Iraq, Afghanistan, and Africa. Here at home, when natural disasters struck, the soldiers were ready to help, heading to North Carolina to assist in the Hurricane Florence relief effort.
We love this base, and most particularly the people that are working so hard here and so effectively.
On August 13th, President Donald Trump visited Fort Drum and signed the National Defense Authorization Act into law, giving soldiers a 2.6% raise, the largest pay hike of its kind in 6 years. Just months before, in April, one of the installation's largest training exercises ever.
We have the best crews in the Army, best crews in the world sitting in this organization right now.
It was called Falcon's Peak. It involved a simulated battle, choppers flying out to Vermont, then fighting their way home to Drum. This exercise in September made a real splash in Sackett's Harbor. It's helocasting, a daring dip into the St. Lawrence River that helped prepare for reconnaissance missions. Accolades on the training field and off.
hearty congratulations were in order for these soldiers, members of the Fort Drum Culinary Arts team, who took home more than 20 awards for their cooking skills. In service to their country, in service to their community. It was another busy year for Fort Drum soldiers, their commitment a shining example of the heart of the North Country.
In March, we told you about an Evans Mills man who overcame the odds.
Former Marine Corporal Luke McDermott's life changed on June 9, 2010. While on deployment in Afghanistan, his vehicle was hit by an IED. McDermott lost his right leg, then his left. But about 8 years after that injury, McDermott was celebrating a golden lining.
At the suggestion of his physical therapist, McDermott had picked up the sport of sled hockey. He got so good, he made the U.S. Paralympic team. And at the Pyeongchang Games, McDermott and his teammates took home the gold medal.
I just remember sitting there while I was singing, I was like, is this really, did this actually happen? Just thinking about how cool it was and how much of an honor it was to represent the U.S. and bring it home for the U.S.
Passion and determination can help people accomplish almost anything.
And our sports director, Mel Busler, saw that firsthand when he met a Canadian man whose drive to drive brought him to Lafargeville.
Johnson Wilson of Kemptville, Ontario, crosses more than just a national border to race in his go-kart at Can-Am Speedway in Lafargeville. He also crosses a physical one. Johnson has Duchenne muscular dystrophy.
It affects pretty much every muscle, including your heart, your lungs. Starts to affect your legs at a young age, and then it moves on to other muscles.
He got into go-kart racing soon after he was diagnosed with the disease.
2009, I guess, I was diagnosed, and then by 2011, I was started to race. And actually, family friends of ours raced in Brockville, and ever since I went to watch them race, I really wanted to race. So by the next year, my dad bought a cart and trailer, and we started to race in Brockville.
It's the one place where he can come out and feel he's on a level playing field with everyone else. When it comes to competition, that's been a big thing for him. He's basically out there against some of the best, and he feels very confident, and he enjoys himself.
He has adapted the go-kart for his muscle loss, changes that makes him able to compete at a high level.
We've done quite a few different things, such as head support, just to support my neck with the G-force at tracks like this, and also leg support to keep my leg up straight, and also we've raised the pedals so it's easier for me to push.
Johnson has had plenty of success on the Can-Am track, with a race win and near the top of the point standings.
First time I got in a kart, I loved it ever since then, and being able to win and compete against guys who are quite good in this sport, and I'm able to compete against them and race with them.
When we return, we'll talk about North Country ingenuity.
We'll meet the innovators of today and tomorrow. This is Heart of the North Country. The North Country is home to a number of excellent colleges and universities.
At Clarkson University, 2 professors helped one American ride into the history books. Chris Mazur is the first U.S. Olympian ever to medal in luge singles. He took home silver this year. The key to his speed? Part of the credit goes to Douglas Bohl and Brian Hellenbrook, who spent more than 4 years developing Mazur's sled. Plenty of math and some test runs in Clarkson's wind tunnel helped make Mazur's Olympic bid a success.
Clarkson also played a big role in getting one Lowville man's invention into stores. Andrew Jennings is the creator of the footrest pillow. He came up with the idea when trying to tackle his own foot pain. Jennings built the prototype, Clarkson helped patent and market the product, And now the footrest pillow is available for purchase at Kinney Drugs.
Technology is making it easier and easier to make things of your own.
At Indian River High School, Natalie Kutchko sat in on a class that develops inventive young minds.
Makerspace, open to all students and a step into the future. It's a class
to build and create and do. The technology's there. It's just the education and the will. That's the new revolution.
That's Dustin Burdick, the technology teacher at Indian River High. He introduced the makerspace phenomena to his students, and it's a success. Students have the ability to make whatever they want using 3D printers like these. Clay Regan, a violinist, built this model entirely by printer and by hand for a small fraction of the usual violin price.
For almost $10, you have your own fully functional one. I love it. I like being in a school that looks towards the future.
Now, Makerspace is a national movement in classrooms across the country. Here at Indian River, it's been active for 1 year. And when students walk in the door, there's a different project every day.
And then I select my design. So for this one, I chose to write out news, like 7 news, and I adjust it, I rotate it, so it's aligned exactly how I want. And then once it's all good, I can press the green button, and it goes.
The class has won a variety of awards for projects like this one, a remote-controlled robot. Katrina Western uses virtual reality to make her own creations, like this 3D dragon.
How long does a project like this take?
I'd say maybe half an hour or so.
Burdick says he doesn't really need to instruct either. The students are the creatives behind it all.
Technology in our schools can help kids create. It can even give students a voice.
That's what Keith Bentman discovered back in February when he visited an elementary school in Potsdam.
It wasn't a sure thing Tegan Clark would be in this year's first grade concert. But there she is, waving hands and stomping feet with the best of them. And she has a special job. She makes the announcements.
Thank you, family and friends, for coming to our first grade winter concert.
The iPad, a special app, and good friend Nora Shelley make it possible. Tegan has a very limited ability to speak, so she's not singing. But she sure can do all the rest.
I'm so excited to see her in this concert. I know she's a super outgoing little girl, and I know she's thrilled.
The technology Tegan uses is now used by about half a dozen other kids at St. Lawrence Avenue Elementary. It's helping them with things way beyond music class.
Well, it's opened up a whole new world for her.
The key for the concert was finding that special someone who could work the iPad with Tegan. That was Nora, and she guides her in other things as well.
It's helping Tegan. Just like if she's putting her leg somewhere I don't want her to, I can just tap her leg.
This is a perfect marriage of technology and people who really care. And also, of course, of a little girl who just won't let anything hold her back. The concert plays to a packed house. Everyone looks for their kid. Most hardly notice Tegan and Nora off to the side, making a big contribution to a very special day.
Welcome, everyone.
We're taking a look at some of the community events that make our home a great place to live.
And we'll head to northern Jefferson County to a rescue farm where all animals are welcome. Stay with us. When it comes down to it, the heart of the North Country is all about the people who live here.
It's the police officer, William Rafferty, who saved a newborn baby's life.
It's the people who have found a home here, like restaurant owner Regina Velez Carter, a native of Puerto Rico. She rallied the community to give when her homeland was hit by Hurricane Maria.
And it's all the people who work and create here, adding to our area's culture.
It's why we're proud to tell the North Country story day in, day out, all year round.
Our commitment to go where the stories are and to always stay connected to our community.
I'm Diane Rutherford.
And I'm Patrick Malowski.
This year, 7 News has sponsored dozens of North Country events.
In February, people took a polar bear dip for River Hospital.
In the spring, we get out and walk to raise awareness about heart health.
In June, we stand with those fighting cancer.
We celebrate cream cheese, take in great music, and have a night at the movies.
And there are so many more events we sponsor.
Make sure to say hello when you see us out.
At 7 News, we're connected to our community.
We'll leave you with a story about a home for animals that may have had nowhere else to go.
Alex Valverde took a trip there last month.
To say that Jeff Garnsey loves animals,
yes, a good girl,
would be an understatement.
I can't even imagine life without having all of these animals.
His 150-acre property in the town of Clayton is affectionately dubbed Garnsey's Feral Acres. Over the years, Jeff and his wife have taken in numerous rescues, and while these animals live on a farm, Jeff says that doesn't make them traditional farm animals.
Nothing that lives here will ever be on a menu. Every animal has its own individual story, and every animal becomes part of the family.
And it's a big family of about 30 rescue animals total, which includes Ferdinand, the young milk cow.
He's very curious, he's very playful.
And his penmates, Marla and Rusty.
He doesn't have a hostile bone in his body, even though they figure about 2,800 pounds.
But the most packed pen belongs to these piggies and Zeus the boar. Now, out of all of the animals here, Jeff says the one in particular he has the biggest connection with is Phoenix. And that's because when she was born, she was considered a lost cause. Just after birth, Phoenix was blinded and paralyzed after her mom rolled onto her. Jeff decided to take a chance on helping her.
And I fed her every 3 hours for the first couple weeks, and she started to move her extremities, and she started to get feeling back in her legs. And at about 3 weeks, she stood for the first time.
Phoenix also gained her eyesight. Now, almost 8 years later, she's 1,000 pounds and enjoys a good nap and belly rub.
There you go. She's a good girl.
Jeff says he and his wife plan to one day put up another barn and become a legitimate rescue,
where we can actually become a point of contact for people that have got animals that are in need of rescuing.
Showing that there's plenty of room for more members of this happy family.
It's been another year of amazing stories, and we're so happy to share them with you.
Our thanks to Honeyville Manor in Adams Center for hosting us. And our thanks to you for watching. We can't wait to see what 2019 brings. I'm Jeff Cole.
And I'm Mackenzie Pyatt. And from all of us at 7 News, happy holidays.
And Merry Christmas. We'll see you next time.
Sponsored locally in part by Hemlock Haven and AirServe of Northern New York.